Welcome to today's customer webinar, Supporting Your Patrons with Access World News, America's News. Thank you to all of you for your ongoing partnership as our valued customers. My name is Sarah McCurdy. I lead our amazing customer success team and am your facilitator today. I would like to also introduce today's presenters, Laurel Roars, who manages our customer engagement team, and Meredith Kropp, one of our customer engagement representatives who supports public libraries. And of course, behind the scenes, thanks to Lisa, who is helping to make sure everything runs smoothly today. Before I review today's agenda, I'd like to cover a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Thank you first to those of you who submitted questions in advance. To answer the very first question, yes, today's session is being recorded and you will automatically receive the recording in 24 hours. We will also provide an opportunity for additional Q&A at the end of our session. In your webinar pane, there is an option to submit questions, but don't worry, I will provide a reminder at the end of today's session to submit your questions. If we do run out of time, we will be sure to follow up with you after our session. So let's move to our agenda for today's webinar. First, as you can see, we are so very proud to share that NewsBank is celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. For 50 years, we have partnered with our publisher partners and customers like yourselves to bring vetted, reliable news and information to your communities. Over the past 50 years, we have continuously monitored and evolved the way we are delivering our content, your content, to reflect the changes in the news and information markets. You can continue to count on us as your dependable partner. So let's move to our agenda today. Whether you have Access World News or America's News with your local content, Meredith will highlight the content, how your content supports your diverse patron needs, and share the many ways to navigate your content from local, regional, to global news and information. Laurel will then provide you with a tour of our resource center, built just for public libraries, sharing tips to grow awareness and engage your community. As I briefly mentioned, we will then take questions. Please submit your questions via the GoToWebinar question pane. So with that, let's go ahead, Meredith, and get started.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Let me share my screen here. We'll get started. Okay. Well, thanks everyone who's joining us. I am going to talk about some different ways to navigate the resource. We'll be going through some searching tips, also looking at some ways to engage your patrons and your community. As we go through, please keep in mind, as Sarah mentioned, there might be slight variations in the actual content from one library to the next, but overall, what we're focusing on today are the features and the search capabilities within the resource. So it really shouldn't have much of an impact, if any. We're going to start on the main landing page here, and we'll take a look at the various components of the interface. From there, we'll be conducting a search, maybe two, time allowing, and we'll look at some ways in which you can cater your search to target more specific results. After that, we'll tour the results page and look at some details within the article view. So we're going to start right here on the main landing page. Oh, click the wrong thing there. Okay, so here at the top, we have the A to Z source list. So this is going to list out all of your available sources. If you want to jump to a source, starting with a certain letter, say, let's give it a second to catch up here. There we go. Okay, so if you want to jump to a source that starts with, say, J, go ahead and click on J, and that will start the sources starting with J. You can also enter a source name, location, type, format, or language here in the search box. So this is a great place where if you want to search for your local title or local papers, you can do it right here in the A to Z source list. I'm going to click back on all. And then also just wanted to point out a quick tip for those of you that have the image editions included in your resource. If you click on the word format just one time, it's going to list out all of those available image editions that are included. Going to go back out. And to the right of the A to Z source list, we have the session folder. You'll want to set this up. It's super easy. Just create a personal folder here. Little bit of information, create your account. So what that's going to do is going to allow you to save any relevant articles right here in your session folder. And not just for this session, but for future sessions. The articles stay in there indefinitely. And then to the right of that, we have the share your feedback up here. Please do. We read all of it. Continuing down on the right-hand side, we have our quick links. So the first one, we have special reports. And here you're going to find articles on key global issues, events, people, and even monthly themes. And then below that, we have hot topics. So these are curated every month by our editorial team, more current events, research topics. And then down below that, we have the daily headlines and lesson plans. I'm going to open this one up. So here you're going to see all of the top news stories of the day on various subject areas. You'll also find lesson plans, and there's different variations for each lesson plan. So here we can see the top headline has the lesson plan attached to it. If you look above that to view all lesson plans, which is where I'm going to click into, then you can sort the lesson plans by curricular area. So let's just go ahead and click on government, for example. So we have all these different lesson plans. We'll just click into one here so we can take a look. So first, what you'd want to do, obviously you want to read, there's a hyperlink into the article. You'd want to read the article associated with the lesson plan. Here are the educational standards that we're aligning to. And then down below, we can see these different variations of the lesson plans. Typically, there's about 4. And then even below, you have some related articles and even some follow-up and assessment questions here at the bottom. So this is a great tool for parents or for teachers to help with homeschooling or with virtual learning, and also with students who might be doing research projects. Going to continue down below daily headlines and lesson plans. We have the quick links. So these blue quick links, they are customizable. If you happen to have multiple NewsBank collections, like here we have Heritage Hub, Black Life in America, you can link out to provide users easy access to these other collections. And then below there, you can create custom links or ask our customer service team to create some custom links for you. Maybe it's a state collection, maybe it's your local paper. We're looking at Access World News, so maybe here we have a quick link to the USA, just the domestic content. So all these different hyperlinks. Also wanted to point out, we have a few here that are mentioning specific titles with the word collection. So let me just click into one of these. And when we reference collection, what we're doing is we're capturing all available formats of the news content. So this is the San Francisco Chronicle. We can see here we have some historical content included. We also have the full text, both Access World News and America's News, with thousands and thousands of sources. They go back as far back as mid-1980s and forward. So here we can see we have the Chronicle from 1985. Then a more recent project is the image edition, which I believe started in 2016. So with the papers that have the image edition, in this instance, it's 2017 to current, available same day. And then here we also have web content. We know the publishers are putting more content online, so we're capturing the web-only sources as well. Just going to take a look at the image edition while we're in here. I'm going to click on the format image. So I'm going to click on the third one down. And we'll catch up. And I'm not sure why this is running so slowly. It looks like it's thinking. Let's give it another second. Okay, there we go. So then you go into the calendar view. Today's the 19th, so we're going to click on today's date. And once we do that, you'll see we will be looking at the image edition, the actual PDF of today's San Francisco Chronicle. One more second here. Not sure why this is taking a bit longer than it was earlier today. Okay, looks like it's loading now. Okay, so here we are on the main landing page, or the home page of the San Francisco Chronicle. There is different ways to navigate this. You have the thumbnails on the right-hand side. So if you want to jump ahead, maybe you're looking for the obituaries or the sports section, you can use the thumbnails. You also can just go page by page if you're just browsing the paper. Just use the forward arrow here. And then we also have the drop down. So maybe it's continued on a page further down. You can use the drop down menu. We have some standard icons here across the top. You can search within the issue, information about this publication, citation, all these standard icons. The clip, I'll take a second and we'll take a look at the clip function. Once you click on the scissors, select the clip to download or print. And then you can easily just drag over the area that you'd like to print, or you can download it, or you can save it to Google Drive. You can increase the text size here on the, by clicking on the plus. You can also fit it to the screen. And then to the right, there's a little help function if you need some help on how to navigate the page. This interface is mobile responsive, so if you are accessing it from maybe a mobile device, you can minimize the header, you can minimize the thumbnails, just to really maximize what you're viewing on the screen. So we'll go back out to the landing page. We looked at the quick links. So the last piece here is suggested topics. And these topics, for the most part, remain static, but they open up to pre-selected searches that will take you straight to the article results. So there's no need to create any searches and suggested topics. We've already done that work for you. And these are the most searched topics by patrons in the resource. Our editorial team, they've crafted these custom searches to provide highly relevant content. Just to take a look at some of these, let me just click into one of them. I'll just click an environment here. So as we can see, we have all these subtopics. And by clicking on any of these, we've already done the, as I said, done the searching, so it'll take you right to the relevant articles. Climate change over here just caught my eye. This was actually one of the most searched topics last month. We're going to be taking a closer look at that topic in just a moment or two. So that's suggested topics. From there, we're going to scroll back up and we'll move on to conducting a search. We have the single search box here. You can type in any search term, keep it easy. Just type in your search term and click search. Very simple way to do it. We are going to talk a little bit about some more advanced features if that is something that would be relevant to you or your patrons. So again, you can just type in your search term, click search, go right to the results page. But we get some feedback on some of the more searched topics per month. And a few of the top September's list were climate change, as well as interest rates and affordable housing. So with those in mind, let's just take a look here with a single search box. If we wanted to do something a little more advanced than just that single search, we can click on any of these options below. And the only difference here is it's just going to determine which fields are pre-populated for you in the search boxes. So I'm going to click here on the more search options. And then you can see we have these additional fields or additional search boxes, which will give you more precise results. This top one you'll see, this select a field option. I'm just going to click on this drop down. So this one will let you limit the search results to more targeted subsets of information. One helpful hint with this select a field might be to include headline or lead paragraph. So what that's going to do, if you include that with your search term, it's just going to help you minimize articles that you may have just, that may just be mentioning your search criteria versus having the full focus on the search topic. And then also here on the left, I'll just click on this where you can see the and is populated. These are your Boolean operators, and, or not. And they're going to allow you to either combine or exclude keywords, once again, just to get those more focused results. And as we continue down, I'll just point out the map. So this is also going to allow users to refine their search results to a particular continent, particular region, particular area. And you can also see, just as we looked at with the A to Z source list, you can look at the available sources to the right of each name. So let's go back up. We were talking about climate change, and with Sarah, Laurel, and myself, we all reside here in Southwest Florida. So I was thinking we could conduct a search on a still pretty relevant climate event from just a few weeks ago, and that would be Hurricane Ian. I know that impacted more than just Southwest Florida. It impacted other states, other regions. So for this example, just again to kind of show us how to do a little bit more of an advanced search, I'm going to take this second field and use this drop-down menu, and I'm going to go to my local source. So I'm going to click on source, and I'm going to type in the Tampa Bay Times, and then, we want to put the search term in, which is Hurricane Ian. I am putting that in quotes, just going to search those two terms together, once again, just to kind of get more specific results, and then click search. So once we do this, here we are on the results page. So 788 total results. We'll look more at this page in just a few more minutes. But as we scroll down, we can see we have, these are text articles. Here we can see this is more of an image edition, so this would be from an image article. And all of these are just from the Tampa Bay Times. And even as we scroll down, we're still on today. So reason for that, we can see different pages, different articles with referencing Hurricane Ian, and even different formats. Up here, we have a web-only source. We can look at this icon. We looked at that web content versus this is the actual newspaper. So all of these different articles on Hurricane Ian, even just in the Tampa Bay Times today. Let's take a look at another search. We're going to clear this, go to a new search up here. A couple other ones we talked about, interest rates, affordable housing. So let's take a look at interest rates. But actually, let's go all the way back out. And I'm going to use one of these quick links. Instead of looking at interest rates, I only want to look at domestic articles. So I'm going to use this quick link for USA. So that's going to use a filter. We're only going to be looking at the domestic content. So once I click on that, now I'm going to conduct my search. So I'm going to look at interest rates just on articles within the US. So now I'll put my search term in there and simply click search. And it's going to take us back to the results page. Even with within the US, we can see we have over 3 million results for interest rates. So for this example, let's filter this down a little bit more. Let's use one of those Boolean operators. I'm going to include and. So I want to search these two terms together, and let's add that third one, affordable housing. So now we're going to be looking at articles which are including both interest rates and affordable housing. And let's conduct the search again. Okay, so much more precise results, just under 36,000. But still, there's different ways to navigate this down even further. So we can see on the left-hand side, it's defaulting to newest. You might want to look at best or oldest. We also have the date selector, so maybe we just want to look at more recent articles. If I click into this decade and then click apply, I can even get more granular down to a year, even down to a day. Continuing down, if you want to put a date range, we kind of looked quickly at those source types. You can see how many articles per source type. A year again by source name, just as we did with the last one, maybe the Tampa Bay Times or You can also look at a location, again, just maybe within the US or another country, by lexile level, articles by grade level, and even by language. A few other things we can do here from the results page. So you do have the option to do like bulk action items. So if you want to say you want to email a couple of these articles to a friend or a patron, just go ahead and click on them. And you'll see from here we have some of these standard icons, but you have the option, oh, I went right over it, email. So right here, you can just go ahead and email those articles. So you can click off 5, 10 articles. You can save them to your folder, download, print, add the citation. And then just by clicking that checkbox twice, it's going to go back to all of the articles. If you want a quick preview, you can hover over preview or over the headline. It's going to bring up more of an abstract of that article without having to leave the results page. And then you can decide if it's something that's relevant to what you're looking for. So let's just click into an article here. So within the article view, same options here. You can increase your text size, have all these same icons at the top. We have the text-to-speech feature. So if you want to have that scrolling text that reads along, can be helpful. I've heard, whether it's an ESL class or maybe younger students, that feature can be really, really helpful. There's a secondary control panel here. If you click on that, just gives you some more options. One of which is download to an MP3 file. So if you want to download this and have access to it at a later time, just here, click on that little secondary control panel to the left. And then it's going to highlight your search terms. There we have interest rates as well as the affordable housing. If you want to look at the next article, you can simply click forward to next. And if you want to go back to the full set of results, you can click on back to results. My favorite feature, last but not least, is create alert. Say you're following an event or whatever. In this case, it would be interest rates and affordable housing, a health topic. I hear that's a popular one. An issue in the news. If you hit create alert and just simply put in your email and select your frequency, how often you want to receive the emails, and create that alert, any relevant articles on your search topics are going to come right to your inbox moving forward. So have all that content, all those articles coming right to you. And with any email nowadays, there's an opt-out within the email. So if you no longer want to receive those emails, you can simply opt out from receiving them. And with that, I am going to jump over to our Resource Center and pass it over to Laurel.
Thank you, Meredith, for the walk through Access World News and America's News, and also that's the same way that you would search your local newspaper. And I wanted to say hello to everyone and thanks for joining us today as we share some ideas on how we help our customers get the most value out of their NewsBank resources. As part of the customer engagement team, Meredith, Kim Saunders, and I assist libraries all across the country with ways to promote resources for your community and help engage your patrons and students with your online resources. So you might ask, how do we go about this? Let's get started by going right to our Public Library Resource Center. And you can easily go on your own to www.newsbank.com and click on Public Libraries Resource Center. And we will also send you all these materials to access these resources in the next few days. So by clicking, you may click, for example, right in our Getting Started guide you see at the top. And this will help you to easily download and print out best practices for help on setting up your resources. Or you can go directly to the resources your library subscribes to, which you see in the icons below, such as Access World News, America's News. We also have America's Historical Newspapers, Heritage Hub, or perhaps you're interested in one of our newest collections for diversity and equity, such as Black Life in America, Hispanic Life in America, or the integrated collections, including both full text and image editions that Meredith showed a bit earlier. You can also sign up for the monthly social media posts that Meredith is going to click on right here. Here you can click in the green section, which we won't do at the moment, but if you were to click on that, that would bring up all of the October social media posts that are already prepared for you by our marketing team, and you can simply copy and paste those right on your social media outlets. You can also scroll down below and just fill in a few simple fields such as your name, your email address, and your library. Click Submit, and then you'll begin receiving these specially prepared social media posts every month to make your marketing jobs easier. Now let's go back and click directly on Access World News, where our first step is to create visibility on your website and help build awareness of NewsBank resources for your community. We have web buttons such as Access World News and also America's News to feature right on your homepage slides, perhaps spotlight on your homepage, on your database pages or resource categories or subject areas, such as business for patrons looking for help with careers or companies in the news. These web buttons can also be posted under categories such as homework help for your homeschoolers that meet at the library, and simply students searching for current event topics or for research assignments, including climate change and STEM topics. To help patrons learn more about your resources, we also have a one-page user guide. And this is one of the questions that was submitted by one of our libraries before today's presentation. And this one-page user guide can actually be printed out and placed at your reference desk if you'd like to click on that, Meredith. It will show how easy it is, gives step-by-step directions. This can be posted right by your patron computer stations, and it also included with training sessions that you may be holding right at the library for patrons and students. And next, we also have on-demand webinars, where today's webinar will also be included in the next few days. We also provide promotional support for your NewsBank resources. And here you will see the monthly social media that you can sign up to receive for topics of interest. You can also go to that right from this page. For example, next month we'll be featuring Native American Heritage Month coming up in November. You can also find ways in the Resource Center to promote Access World News and America's News with these ready-to-use social media posts to help engage your community. These can be just copied and pasted, for example. You can share a different post perhaps over the next several weeks. They can also be used in newsletters or any other ways that you reach out to your community to help spread the word regarding your new resources. In addition, there are also a series of video tutorials that NewsBank has available for quick 1 or 2 minute overviews of how to use Access World News, America's News, and others for staff and patron training, which can be embedded right on your website, and you may also share these right on your social media. And if your library is part of Niche Academy, these tutorials are also available in the Niche Marketplace, which you can add to your own academy. In addition, there are also bookmarks and posters available to download and print out to share with patrons and students in your reference areas. Post near your book displays and include with books as patrons check out materials, such as at book fairs for any special events you may be holding at the library. And we have these available for Access World News, as we're showing right now, America's News, America's historical newspapers, Heritage Hub, and others. And now we're going to show a few examples of how libraries just like yours showcase our resources right on their websites and on social media for community outreach. First of all, a big thank you to our many libraries for promoting resources on their homepage, including South Lake Public Library in Texas, who is currently highlighting digital resources for patrons and students with our colorful web buttons and links to Access World News, Heritage Hub, Black Life in America, Hispanic Life in America, and also the Star Telegram collection, which includes both their full text and image edition. We would also like to thank our libraries on our next slide who also use our specially prepared social media posts in their social media outlets, including both the Rockford Public Library in Illinois and the Livingston County Library in Missouri, who have both used our graphics and social media posts to help support Hispanic Heritage Month in their communities. Next, we have another slide which shows a brand new graphic and post that you can use right on your social media to help patrons celebrate fall. And take a look at a list of historical fiction books perfect for the season. We've done the work for you. Next, as a reminder, in the next few days, you'll be receiving our webinar recording to share with staff for training and also available to post on social media. You'll also be receiving links to our marketing and resource center filled with tips and tools to promote your NewsBank resources. There will also be links to our video tutorials and our on-demand webinars. And last but not least, be sure to sign up for our monthly ready-to-use social media posts. And now, back to you, Sarah, for any incoming questions.
Thank you so much, Laurel, and thank you, Meredith, for a really engaging session and really helping us to understand how to use Access World News, America's News, or really any collection that you have news-based. So we do have actually a couple of questions. Laurel, Rachel asks, do you have any prepared marketing materials we can use to promote NewsBank?
Yes, we do, and these can be found right in our resource center, and that is a great question. They can be found right in our resource center. We have those under our social media post. Under marketing, we also have the bookmarks, and we have materials that can be downloaded. These can be posted right within the library, included with books, book bags, any events that you hold at the library. And the social media post, we also have some examples that may be used in newsletters and newspapers, for example.
Excellent, thank you. And Meredith, again, we've had a couple of questions about the ways to navigate to a particular source. Can you refresh again how to do that?
Sure thing, Sarah. If in the beginning and when we're on the main landing page at the top, you have the A to Z source list. So if you open that up and you can search for your local titles, any titles of interest, just by typing the source name right in there in the A to Z source list.
Great, excellent. Let's see, we have another question. Laurel, what's the best way to promote NewsBank on social media?
Some of the best ways that we've heard from our patrons, or some of the easiest actually, is to actually sign up and subscribe to our monthly social media posts. And there you can very easily simply copy and paste. We have web graphics available for you that are already prepared. You can copy and paste the already prepared social media posts, so the work is done for you. And we also send out links to our resource center where you can use your own web buttons, for example, to promote Access World News, America's News, and specially prepared posts right for those resources.
Excellent. Thank you, Laurel. And we do have a question Howard asks, which I'll start this one and maybe you can add. What do you recommend as the largest benefits of NewsBank to potentially new patrons at a public library? And Howard, that is a fantastic question. As you saw on the landing page, news and information covers just about any topic imaginable. So whether it's health-related information, to find information that is related to specific health issues, whether it is information that a patron is looking for, maybe they're interested in something that's happening globally, and so they can search the impact of an issue locally, but then also expand what's the global impact of that. Many public libraries will share with us, they have patrons that have moved from other areas. So really, with the breadth and depth of our content, those individuals can find information from states, countries, regions that they've moved from. So because of the depth, I mean, our largest collection is both local, regional, state, and global. You can really find information on just about anything. And many libraries, many public libraries have shared with us, it's a great resource to have because you just never know what your patrons are looking for. And this is one place to go for that information. So in the one last question, there's a couple of questions in here. And Carrie, I think your questions will take offline because they're very specific. So the last question is, Meredith, how recent are news articles?
The articles are populated in the resource every day, so that you can find articles from today. So very recent, up to current day.
Fantastic. Being respectful of your time, and again, if we didn't have time to get to your questions, and Carrie, again, I think yours are so specific, we'll follow up with you right after today's webinar. We want to make sure we end on time. If we haven't answered your question, we will reach out to you directly. So with that, thank you so much for sharing, Meredith and Laurel again, and Lisa behind the scenes. Thank you for your help. Again, as a reminder, today's session is recorded and you will receive the replay in 24 hours. The slides contain our email addresses as shown. If you would like to contact us directly for any additional support or questions, these slides are in our handout section. Finally, you will receive a survey. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to share your feedback and any ways that we can make these sessions more useful. And one final, we will be sending a follow-up email to you with all kinds of information that we covered today, from tutorials, all kinds of marketing information that you can use to really promote your resources to your community. So we really, on behalf of us and behalf of all of NewsBank, we thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you gained some useful information to engage your patrons, and please follow up with us if you have any other questions. Thank you so much for your time today.